From the East and the West, you've heard others, but now you've tuned into the best. This is a Prime Wave Media production.
What's up, world? It's the one and only Pop DBIC, the Primetime Capper, and it is time for the premier sports betting show, the Primetime Angles. And boy, oh boy, I'm feeling good. I'm feeling great. It's going to be a beautiful day today. And I got my man, Nick Switty, waiting on us right now. We'll be having him coming up on the at the top of the hour right after this first segment and everything like that. Now, as we can see in the news, my man from UCLA, Josh Rosen, has just been signed by the 49ers, and I really do feel like this could truly be his destination of where he can start his career the right way because he has the right type of coach here in Shanahan, and I think Shanahan knows how to really get quarterbacks to be as good as they can possibly be in the NFL. I'm saying this because he was able to do wonders with Kirk Cousins. He was able to do wonders with Keenan as well too. He was able to get these guys to just fit into certain schemes, and they were able to get the job done. Brian Hoyer as well when he was in Cleveland, and Matt Ryan is still missing Shanahan at this moment right now as well too, because come on now, that's the reason why they got to the Super Bowl, simply because Shanahan had it schemed up so well. He even made Matt Schaub a decent quarterback in this league as well too. So how can he help Josh Rosen? Josh Rosen has been put into bad positions. He was drafted by the Cardinals, the same situation that Matt Leinart ran into. Okay, so then they give up on him because they get a brand new coach who's in love with the Heisman Trophy winner. So they send him to Miami. Miami wants to be a total mess. What can he do? Miami wants to tank for a future quarterback. So pretty much he's in a bad position there. Then they send him over to the Bucs just to go hang out with Brady for a little bit. And then he gets claimed off the practice squad. And now you see that he's here in San Francisco. So this is a good look for him, man. And I really do feel like this will be something that's going to be great for his career. So I really do feel like Josh Rosen has found somebody finally that believes in him, and they will take their time with him. It's okay if he doesn't start right away, but now they got a sufficient backup here. And I know that Mullins was pretty good as well too, but Mullins is too much he's way too aggressive. If Josh Rosen can really learn this game plan with Shanahan, I think that this can bode very well, and he'll be back home on the West Coast. You know, that always makes you feel a little bit better as well too. All right, so pretty much we move forward, and boy, oh boy, man, we had a great night last night in the NCAA. We had number 15 Iowa roll all over Rutgers last night. Garza drops 22 points, 10 rebounds last night, man. Let's go ahead and run the tape real quick. And here we are, 3-ball. So that puts up Iowa 9. Again, another 3-ball, putting Iowa up. Uh-oh. Okay, and then Iowa again. Oh, boy. All right, Iowa up 10, up 13 actually now. So here we are. Boom, boom. Luka Garza, two-hand slam. Monster man. Okay, back over to Garza again. Baseline 3. Who tells me that this kid ain't going to be able to dominate in the NBA, get himself 15-10 nightlies? All right, and then so Rutgers over there trying hard. Ron Harper Jr. gets a nice little layup there. Then here we go, ball up to Garza, and that right there is the beginning of the end for Rutgers. And whoop, there it is. Whap, whap. And just one more for good measure. Let's just go ahead and check. This one is just for good measure. Put them away. There it is. The toughest spot to play in the Big Ten, Iowa. Oh, once again, they defend the barn. Great effort from this team last night. They stepped it up huge last night. Big-time threes, big-time players, and they are trying to make sure that they stay in and float. They stay in the game, because this is going to be difficult for this team moving forward if they keep just winning at home and not winning on the road, because this team could be a dangerous team in the tournament this year, I'm feeling like. But at the end of the day, though, they got to get more consistent. They were more consistent a few weeks back, but I think that now people have kind of figured out exactly how they play, and we all know it's going to be a tough game when you go to we all know it's going to be a tough game when you go to Iowa, but they just have been such a vulnerable road team this year. So I really do think that they should be hitting their stride right now. We're in February, and we're getting down to the nitty-gritty of things as well, too. So there it is, and we move forward. And, man, the player of the night last night, OMG, Zach LaVine. Boy, oh boy, you did the thing last night. Zach LaVine went absolutely berserk. I'm telling you right now, Zach LaVine is probably the number one prospect when it comes to trade value here in the NBA, if the Bulls do want to move him. But if the Bulls move him, the Bulls will be getting first-round picks for him as well, too, because, yeah, if you send him to a contender, he will put you over the top. I promise you that. And the Lakers, I'm telling you right now, a lot of people are rumoring that the Lakers want to take a stab at him. But you know what? Take your time with this one right here, because Zach LaVine is about to be a $200 million man somewhere down the road, because this guy does it all out there. He can fly, he can shoot, he plays good defense as well too, and he just does it all, man. Go ahead and run the tape real quick. This 46 points was a thing of beauty. And here we are, Zach LaVine over there getting pumped, and here we are bouncing back. Oh, first three of the quarter right there. Another one. Okay. Oh, you haven't had enough yet? Oh, there goes another. All right. We still in the first quarter. Oh, there goes number 4. Whap. And here goes the 5th one of the quarter. He went 5 for 5 in the first quarter yesterday. Boy, oh boy, he had already started off the game with 24 points cooking. All right, so pretty much Zach LaVine to the hoop. Oh, the glide, the smoothness. Oh my goodness, he just makes dunking look effortless. Oh, pump fake, whap whap. And this is nothing but the bottom of the net, too. And he puts his squad back up, too. And here we go. LaVine, back over to LaVine in the corner. Whap, another. There it is. And he puts his boys up. And that's the deciding points right there. Went ahead and smoked the Pelicans last night. And that was pretty surprising as well, too. But you know what? When you come to Chicago, you better be ready to play. Right off the top. And that's exactly what happened last night. Zach LaVine and crew took advantage of, pretty much a Pelicans team that probably overlooked these guys, and they went ahead and did the damn thing. So there it is. The Bulls pretty much did make a lot of people believers last night. As my man Cash Actions just shows us right now, he grabbed the Bulls in the third quarter last night. So good for you, Cash Action. You got that plus 6.5 on. So there it is. The Bulls player of the night, Zach LaVine, 46 points, 7 rebounds, 4 assists. Oh boy, you got to make sure that this guy's in the All-Star game this year as well too. So we go ahead, we move forward, and boy oh boy, state of the Lakers, and the Lakers find themselves in a position again last night where they was kind of straddling the fence a little bit. They was messing around a bit too much with this team last night, and I just really feel like what happened here was that the team just didn't want to just respond, correctly to what was going on. In my opinion, I think that what happened here is that pretty much they once again kind of knew that they could take their sweet time, and they would be able to they'll be able to catch up with the Thunder whenever. So pretty much that's what happened last night. Let's go ahead and look at the highlights real quick, and then I'll give you guys more of a breakdown of it as well too. All right, so here we are. Lakers, LeBron for 3. Lakers down 5, cuts the deficit down to 2 at that point. Now the Lakers are up 1 point. So the Lakers are cruising. We got 5 minutes left to go in the game, but these guys just don't go away. All right, now Al Horford puts it back up. Oh, okay, 98 up. Now it's 102, 100, and here we are. Okay, and there it is. Gintz. Oh boy, he thinks he's James Harden, but it is what it is. So here we are. Then another great moment. LeBron James goes ahead and ties the game up here late. And so what's going on? The third straight, it looks like it's about to be the third straight overtime for the Lakers, and it is. So here we are, third straight overtime for the Lake Show, and we roll into overtime, and here we go. LeBron. All right, passes over to Wes Matthews. Great free agent pickup. Hits the monster three here with 41 seconds left to go in the game and gives the Lakers the 3-point lead. And that was the go-ahead shot right there. But these guys just don't want to go away. Gintz gets to lay up there, cuts the lead down to one. LeBron gets the John Havlicek type steal, throws it behind his back. Heave hove, but it wasn't enough. The shot clock had already expired. Lakers win this one 114-113, and that's their third win in a row in overtime at home against teams that are well below 500. So the Lakers missing AD a little bit right now, but it's okay. I think what happens with the Lakers right now is that they're going through the motions, and these are scenario games. So pretty much they can be against any team in this scenario, and this is what they're trying to play out. It's kind of like, I don't know, like they might be a little bored, like I've said before, but these games are really good for you. But you can't do this against the better teams in the league. Like if you go off and play Denver and you let them drop 60, get out to a 20-point lead early like you did OKC, they'll probably run away with that thing, beating you by 30. So pretty much you just can't do that with certain teams, and the Lakers know that. And I just think that they know they have the Thunder's number, but still that's no excuse to play the way that the Lakers played last night. So pretty much it is what it is. The Lakers continue to be atop of the West, have a great record. We'll see how long it's going to take for AD, but I will say just go ahead, take your time, AD. He might be out another week or so because this is the Achilles, and this is the same thing that ended KD's season in the finals a few years back. So you got to be very cautious with this thing. So there it is, state of the Lakers. And with that, you guys already know I got the drip on top of my head. I got the sweater going on. You guys go ahead and check out the Hat Club. We got the promo in the show description, and you guys can go ahead and press that link and get 10% off on any order that's $50 or above. Once again, that's www.hatclub, and you guys press the link in the show description, and you guys will get 10% off on any order that's $50 or better. With that, we will be right back. Switty's in the house. We're going to make sure that we rock and roll for you guys, but he'll be up here next once I get back. So stay tuned to the Premier Sports Betting Show with the one and only Pop DiBiase, the Primetime Capper, and this is the Primetime Capper, and let's get to commercial.
Good News Only Racing Club, led by the legendary Doug O'Neill, the trainer of 2 Kentucky Derby winners and I'll Have Another and Nyquist. Also trained 2-time Breeders' Cup champ Golden Sense, who are just a part of a long list of thoroughbred champions trained by Doug O'Neill. The Good News Only Racing Club has a young core of horses to look out for in Dennis's Celery, Irish Heatwave, and Notre Dame, just to name a few. Win the day every day with the Good News Only Racing Club, a proud sponsor of the NFL Bet Exchange.
From the East and the West, you've heard others, but now you've tuned into the best. This is a Prime Wave Media production.
Tune into Big Wave Boxing every week with a brand new guest, with the one and only Pop DiBiase, the Primetime Capper, getting the best boxing stories, best boxing angles, and the truth when it all comes down to the sweet science. Tune in to Big Wave Boxing on the Prime Wave Media channel on YouTube. All right, we are back with the Premier Sports Betting Show, the Primetime Angles, live with the one and only Pop DiBiase, the Primetime Capper, and I'm going to bring my guy on in here, my man, Nick Switty. What's going on, brother? What's up? How's that weather going on out there in the beautiful state of Ohio?
Not so beautiful, Primetime Pop. I hope all is well, my friend. It's not going great, which is why I have several trips planned this month. Things back to full force next month, but I will be in Florida. I will be in South Carolina, and I'm almost making a push to make another trip out to your area. So I'm not going to be getting the worst of it, if you will. But in Northwest Ohio, it's a mess. It's 5 degrees, and snow's been on the ground for 3 weeks.
Okay, understood. And I'm very familiar with Northeast Ohio, so I know this is that time of the year, and pretty much that's why we have those beautiful summers out there as well, too, even though they're very humid, but they're still beautiful summers as well. So at least you get the 4 seasons, brother. You know, I'm out here paying
Right.
sunshine.
Oh, they are.
Just,
They are.
just know that sunshine tax.
Yeah,
Is,
it's not so
it's
bad.
a mother.
It's not so bad.
It's a mother, brother. All right, so here we are. Let's go ahead. What are your thoughts on Super Bowl 55, brother? What's going on with that?
Oh, I mean, the game was a dud. I mean, first of all, and I'm not going to take anything away from anybody at the end of the day, because Bulls, with what the Chiefs had versus Bulls, I don't think they had a chance. I thought the credibility of the game was hurt at the end of the day. Why is that? Simple. I think the left tackle going out in Green Bay, who, look, he's not great, but he's been there since they took him #1 overall. He knows Mahomes. Mahomes knows him, and he's good. And the right tackle is even better at his position than Schwartz. With the back injury, he never had a prayer to play in that game. So that already happened. And then you might say, well, injuries happen. And that's true. But now you're really talking about the credibility being taken away when you got the 3rd-round pick, who would have been a hell of a fill-in primetime. He opts out due to COVID. So he's not there. You got Andrew Wiley from right guard to tackle. That's a disaster. Wiley, God bless him, can't play guard, even worse tackle. So really, at the point of attack, I just didn't think the Chiefs had a prayer. I think if that's any other quarterback, he gets sacked 6, 7, maybe double digits as far as the sacks. Mahomes, he was escaping. He was running for his life. I just don't think the credibility of the game was all that. You can't take Brady still has 7, and I'm not one of those guys that's going to put an asterisk on it. He has it. He won it. And Bulls was great, and Brady played his best game, and the best team won that day. But given the circumstances, I mean, how do you honestly watch that game on top of a halftime show that looked fake to me, on top of Romo's commentary, which really bothered me, which always does, but he almost hit this new level on top of not wiggling, obviously, and having that episode on his pants. But no, add in the commentary, add in the halftime show, add in the credibility of the Chiefs' offensive line situation. It was a dud of a Super Bowl. What can I say?
Hey, I'm with you on that. And, I'm feeling bad because I was like this. I was back and forth, and I kept telling myself, you know what? The Bucs are probably going to go ahead and they're going to embarrass these guys come Sunday because everybody is just so in love with what Mahomes is doing. And I kept telling myself, I said, we got this foot issue going on as well, too. I screamed this out on the show for 2 weeks, and pretty much everybody was like, well, it's Mahomes. He's the GOAT. He's going to be up next. He's going to be this. He's going to be that. Blah, blah, blah,
Right.
blah, blah, blah. But you know what? He's in his 4th season. Can we just kind of calm down a little bit? And the thing is, now he had to face real adversity, and he didn't look good at all. He looked like that same quarterback that used to struggle at Texas Tech against the better teams in the conference, the better defenses in the conference. So pretty much you guys have to understand this guy did come with flaws, and Andy Reid is very good at covering things up and making quarterbacks look like they are the next Messiah. He did the same thing with Donovan McNabb. Even though Mahomes is better tool-wise than McNabb, we all were looking at McNabb like, man, you're playing ultimate football right now. And the moment he left out with Andy Reid, everybody was like, whatever on Donovan. So pretty much my thing is like this. Let's just hold back a little bit. Let him just keep maturating. I think that it was too much talking going on by him and the other teammates. And you didn't see the Bucs doing that, on Twitter, worried about other people's contracts and other people's trade statuses. That's not your business. You're playing in the Super Bowl. You don't have time for that. You know what I mean? And I think that's what he's going to have to understand, and that's what he's going to have to learn. And stop doing so many commercials.
Well, hey, the pocketbook is never it never gets big enough. Prime time. Let me say this about Mahomes. You mentioned the thing with Mahomes. I think you're on to something as far as him still having room to grow, and as far as fulfilling these expectations like I have of him if you're looking at one player in the next 15 years that has any prayer of getting to the number of championship games in the conference that Brady, it's Mahomes. And I think that ceiling is that high. But, you're bringing up that Super Bowl performance. Who are you putting in there that's going to have a prayer? That's my question for you. I mean, if you put in Unitas, if you put in Elway, if you put in Marino, if you put in Brady, if you put in whoever you want to put in there, my point on the game is nobody would have had a prayer. And Mahomes, nobody has had this escapability. Staubach, give me a quarterback, because I'm going to tell you that they would have been doomed. And I'm probably going to tell you that Mahomes, and I'm not going to sit here and, go off about it was a great throw, don't get me wrong, but I'm not going to break down these immaculate incompletions of his. And they're great, but no quarterback had a prayer in that game. And I watched Mahomes very closely in that game, and I just don't think not only was he not the problem, I don't think he was a problem. And I don't think any quarterback in that circumstance, Wiley at right tackle, but I mean, the Chiefs benched their center 6-7 weeks ago, wanted nothing to do with the guy playing a snap. And there he is playing on Super Bowl Sunday. I mean, and again, the competitiveness, it was basically over in the second quarter. The officiating, I have 2 calls that were just, they were just not the right calls. And although it didn't impact the game in a big way, it was a bad night for the league because there were 2 atrocious calls, the Matthew pick and the uncatchable ball to Evans on the trip. Horrible calls. And then you have Andy Reid, that was a legacy game for him. This guy's burning a timeout on 2nd and 2. He should have went into halftime down 14-6. Instead, he goes down 21-6. Not only because of the bad call, I blame Reid for that because he put himself in that position. I don't blame bad calls. It happens, and it's worth noting, and it was a bad night for the league, and Brady gets too many calls. And I don't think they're out there saying, it's Brady, let's give him a call. It just happens to work out that way. And the guy got a ton of breaks. And fortunately, the Bucs would have won regardless. I mean, if you would have given the Chiefs those 2 calls, I'm a big momentum guy, prime time. You ain't going to sell me that the Chiefs' momentum, they were off that night. And oh, by the way, I think the accident with Andy Reid's kid, I think that may have had something to do with Reid and Bieniemy basically being made out to look like amateurs on Super Bowl Sunday. I think that was a rough week for the organization. They kept it behind the scenes. They were getting killed for it. I mean, Reid was getting killed in Kansas City for not saying anything on Friday. I think all that was in the back of their mind. I think they're human. Again, not the reason they lost the game, but I think it's worth noting.
Hey, you know what? And as a bettor, you know that pretty much you got to look at every element that comes into play, and all
100%.
that affected the game plan. It had to, and pretty much
that's why I couldn't pick a side. I couldn't pick a side, prime time. I couldn't pick because of those circumstances. Right. I couldn't pick a side. Pick a side.
Right. So pretty much, and I'm with you on that. So I'm totally in agreement with that. And pretty much, let's go ahead and move forward to the next topic at hand. And man, let's go ahead and jump into it, man. This, it's football season's done. It's over. Now we just got preseason talk and everybody got dreams. You know what I mean? Dreams of Super Bowl Sunday at some point. Let's go ahead and talk about the top 2 teams in the nation right now. Who is better, Baylor or Gonzaga?
It's a tough case to make. Look, I'm not going to sit here and tell you I've watched all 30 games that they played combined, but the bottom line is that I think deep down, I think something about Mark Few. It's just one of those years where you think someone's due, right? Right. And we've said that year in and year out and year in and year out. And although he's had a couple of stars along the way, but you've watched it out there. You see a lot more of the basketball on the coast, on that side of the coast. I mean, there's something about that program that just has Mark Few's fingerprints written all over it. And it's in a sport where the stars, not always in college, but always in the NBA. Like when you get these star players on a team, the stars win. Like the stars win the day in that sport. And that doesn't scream Gonzaga basketball. And that's what makes Mark Few a hell of a coach. Some argue he's a little overrated, but look, all these coaches in every league, whether or not it's the NFL playoffs or the March Madness tournament, when you compile the resume year in and year out throughout the regular season, this topic just came up with Schottenheimer passing away. People, they look at his playoff record, but say, hold on now. A lot of those are bad bounces. A lot of those are a little luck involved. Look at the compilation of the regular seasons year in and year out. And that's something I brought up with Schottenheimer. And although it's a cross-sport comparison, I think you could bring it up with Few. Because although you might say, he's had an opportunity in the big dance, in the Final Four, this, that, and the other, he hasn't gotten the job done. Where is it? I'd say crap happens, man. Look what he's done. I think he's a top 3, top 4 coach in the nation. And I think Mark Few is the reason why, again, it's not even about Baylor for me. I think this is a 1A and 1B situation. But when you slice it down the middle, I'm going to give maybe a slight edge to Gonzaga just because I think they're due.
Okay, and this is my problem with Gonzaga. When Gonzaga was faced with the situation when they had Jalen actually had to sit out for a moment in the game, they panicked and they didn't look good at all. You know what I mean? And I'm thinking, and I think that they have a lot of hype to him because now they've got a 5-star player. This guy was seen as one of the best players in the nation out of high school last year, coming from Minnesota. And so pretty much he chooses Gonzaga to come play at because Gonzaga is once you get on campus, All they got is that gym. And once you get in the gym, if you're a gym rat, this is where you want to be, right? So pretty much I'm feeling like Gonzaga once again is going to be hurt because the schedule. And really in a pandemic year, the way it is, I know they tried their hardest to go to do the Maui tournament, and they had good competition there. But once again, the West Coast Conference is not strong enough to really say that, hey, these guys they're impressive. I want to see them play.
Right.
I really want to see that Baylor Gonzaga matchup because I felt like that was the game that was going to measure them on are they really here to be, are they really elite? Are they going to just be once again getting beaten in the Elite Eight or in the first game of the Final Four? That's my thing. Yeah.
No, point well taken. And as far as Gonzaga goes, look, it's just one of those years, man. Like you're still and while you say I hope for few, or if you have a ticket on Gonzaga with a future of some sorts, yeah, you want Gonzaga to get that bounce, but who the hell knows? Look at these circumstances for crying out loud. The aforementioned circumstances that lied with Gonzaga. I mean, look at Michigan. That was a top 5 team. And you know, nobody's noticing Holtman's job in the Big Ten because they're building Juwan Howard the statue in Ann Arbor, and he's done a hell of a job too. And they were cooking, and they haven't played. They're going to go a month without playing a game. I mean, talk about affecting the credibility of what the hell's going on here. So look, you need a good bounce with the COVID. You need everybody to do their thing, and it's a hell of a lot to ask for. I'm not sitting here, you know, in Northwest Ohio, haven't had a pair of sneakers on my feet in 2 years. I'm not going to tell you that I could walk in and abide by every single thing because it's not easy, but they have to do it because if you don't do it and you're at a school like Michigan where who the hell knows with the decision-making process that goes on with this COVID protocol where not one kid has COVID, not one kid had contact tracing, but there's the basketball programs getting shut down for a month. I mean, you can't even make it up. So that's a problem, but you're just kind of banking on it working out, are you not? And this is just getting on the floor. This is just playing the game. So look, and then you mentioned the conference. I know you say the few accomplishments in the regular season year after year. You're like, what's that mean? I know St. Mary's has had some teams. San Diego State's had some teams, but in the big picture, the conference has never been legit. And I understand that. But we've seen the brand of basketball that Gonzaga plays. We've seen them on the big stage. It's not like they've been run off the big stage. They've had a couple of dull moments, but yeah, it's a big time program. And I agree with you. I think it'd be a hell of a matchup.
And
in a year where people are having a hard time getting into the sport without the fans and such, I think it'd be a good matchup for TV. I do.
And you know what? I'm gonna be dead honest with you. I love this Baylor. This Baylor team is the closest thing I've seen to the 1990 UNLV team in a while. And the thing is, it's almost like they got the same type of story. You know, these guys are guys that are they're top ranked players, but they might have a little bit of some off court issues going on, things like that, whatever. You know, they got a lot of transfers coming in, but people have to not deny the greatness of Scott Drew. Scott Drew has been such a damn good coach since the Valpo days. And the thing is, when it comes to these big crunch time games, he has the sword is sharp. You took out, they had 4 top 10 teams in the Big 12. They have a top 10. They have a team rotate into the top 10 every week, it seems like. And they've beaten them all. They beat Texas. They beat Kansas. They beat Texas Tech. And they beat these teams. And some of these games weren't even close. And I'm just like, these guys are playing in a much better conference, and they're dominating these teams, like dominant performances. And that's why I said that this game could be one of these, we're getting all hyped up, but then it could wind up being, you know what? Hey, windfall, and that's all. You know what I mean? With as soon as the tip go off, Baylor can hit you with an alley-oop, and it's game over. You know what I mean? Because these guys play, they're aggressive, they're physical. I love this team. What are your thoughts on Baylor?
I think you're spot on. I think Larry Drew, you brought up a good name in Larry Drew, another coach that kind of, might be considered just a little underrated, honestly. Right. But look, and you're mentioning some wins there. And I think the key is, I think you already mentioned it, they've been cashing a lot of tickets in Vegas. Right. I have not backed them this year, but they've cashed a lot of tickets in Vegas. They're winning big. And when you're bringing up some teams, you might say, hold the phone. It's not a Bill Self all-time Kansas year. I know they don't play the other, but you look at Kentucky and Duke, and you're saying it's a weird year. Like these blue bloods are off the map. Well, there's a perfect opportunity for somebody. And it's not that as if they had to go through them, but it's a good opportunity for Larry Drew, maybe to put his name in the mix for the aforementioned category that I was talking about. Few top 3, top 4, top 5, pound for pound, program for program. Keep that in mind. More with less versus less with more. I think you could put his name in the conversation. What a year to prove it, right? Hell of a team. They've looked unbeatable at times. And while I haven't been super into the Big 12 scene, how do you not notice it?
Right. Exactly. Well, let's get to your neck of the woods. Let's go ahead and talk about the Ohio State Buckeyes. Number 4 team in the nation. They are quietly coming through, just killing it right now in the Big Ten. They really are on like a revenge tour as well, too. Got one of the biggest wins of the year at Iowa as well, too. And it wasn't just like it was close, but they were so thorough and so focused in this game. They, to me, pose maybe the biggest threat to both Baylor and to Gonzaga. This is the team that they don't want to play in regionals. You know what I mean? You don't want to play this team in the Elite Eight, in my opinion. But I think that they'll wind up being a 1 seed as is anyway. So pretty much that's why I'm thinking that Ohio State has to, or do you see them as a Final Four team?
Why the hell not? I mean, why not? I mean, I can't think of a reason. I mean, it's one of those years where, it's not some schmuck program where you don't have expectations with Ohio State, but it's also a stage where you looked at, with the recruiting cycle the past couple of years, a couple of the kids they landed didn't necessarily pan out. Carton got homesick. He's out the door. So you're like, okay, based on the turnover and based on who they have and based on the guys like Washington, for an example, Dwayne Washington, going into this year, let's be honest, everything's improved. The player development has been on display for Chris Holtmann this year. And the reason why I say why the hell not is simple. The Big Ten's clearly the best conference in basketball to me. And I think Ohio State's done enough as far as not only winning 7 of 8, 8 of 9, whatever it is, 5 straight. But when you look at the improvement from the first week to now, they've been lucky, relatively speaking, with the COVID. I mean, like I said, you got a great situation with Michigan, a couple of top 5 teams there, with Iowa floating around the top 10 too. All these teams, it sucks with Michigan right now. It's too bad, really. As far as Ohio State goes, what the hell not? That's my response. I mean, with Holtmann there, they finally have a player that is close to a star that can shoot and that can do a lot of things. And his name is E.J. Liddell. And you want to talk about player development, pop in the tape from his freshman year to now. And it doesn't have everything to do with him hitting the weight room and the nutrient table. He's just becoming a better player all around. He's big. And we've seen what Ohio State looks like with him off the floor. I think they need him on the floor. But with him on the floor and the full team, with what I've seen over the course of time, I'm very surprised. I think even Holtmann is too, because we had expectations, but not this primetime, not this. This has been a pleasant surprise. And as far as Holtmann and Ryan Day right now, the duo there, I'm not sure. Give me another combination. What are you gonna give me? Oates and Saban. As far as the football basketball situation goes, life isn't too bad right now. Primetime, it's not.
Man, and you know what? I gotta totally agree with you about the Big Ten. The Big Ten should get it no less than 7 teams into the tournament this year, honestly, because they've had some of the better teams in the nation. But let's go ahead and you mentioned it just a moment ago. Let's talk about the Blue Bloods real quick. What happened to Kentucky? Like literally, but real quick, I feel like what happened to Kentucky is that Calipari kept recycling the same situation, and now it's to come back to bite you in the butt, just like it did when they had Orleans Noel, Rochester, and all those guys as well too. You can't put every top freshman together thinking that it's going to work. At some point, you have to have senior leaders. You have to tell these guys, hey, you know what? You need to stay back. You're not good enough. You know what I mean? Like that's what he did with the Twins. That's what he did with I'm trying to think of his name right now, but pretty much the guy who played for Sacramento for a long time, and then he's in Dallas now, but he's just always been a defensive guy. So pretty much, those guys stayed back, and that was one of the best teams UK ever had. You know what I mean? And he keeps trying to recreate Anthony Davis and John Kidd Gilchrist, and that's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. So what are your thoughts on Kentucky?
I think you're right about that. I think it's a risky business. It's one thing when you find, how do I put this? When Coach K and Calipari were running college basketball, just look at the numbers with the recruiting. And while the recruiting now isn't suffering, when you're not hitting on these kids that are ready to rock, right? Like you brought up some big names there. Those dudes were ready to rock, right? Fox, ready to rock from day one. Davis, ready to rock from day one. Kid Gilchrist, ready to rock from day one. And they're on big-time teams. And although they didn't win the title every year, it took, Calipari wasn't winning the title every year, but he had a big-time team every single year. That's not the case this year. And I think you put it pretty well as far as it finally kind of catching up to him. And while this kind of happens, I think in the industry, when you play your cards like that, I think it just, after so many years, it happens. I think it does. But on the flip side, I don't love the methodology when you're not guaranteeing yourself hitting not only on the top 5 player at every position, but players that are ready to play, not the raw player that has some high ceiling. Because if you're running all freshmen and sophomores out there, you're going to have a really lousy season sprinkled in every 3 or 4 campaigns, or at least it's going to be tough to avoid. So as far as that idea of yours, I agree. As far as this year goes, look, people are saying, well, they got screwed against Arkansas. I don't know. I flipped on that Arkansas game the other night, and they were losing by 12 with 5 minutes to go. And it looked like, and I was listening, it sounded like they got outplayed in the game, and they deserve to lose the game. So, look, late in the games, they're not getting the job done. And Calipari knows what he's doing from a coaching standpoint. I don't question that, but I've always thought this guy was a little bit of a schmuck, and it doesn't, trust me, I'm not sitting there too concerned about him or the Kentucky basketball program, because it's not a program that I care for nor root for. And I agree with you. I don't think it's the proper way of doing business. And same thing goes for Krzyzewski.
And you know what? We'll have to talk about Coach K on another day, because I've already brought it up on the show before, if you watched that one, and he's disappointing me now. And I really want this to be the victory lap for him, somewhat, to just walk on, just hit the sunset, bro. And just before we move on to the next subject, I really truly think that Calipari can't afford to have another season like this next year. Not at Kentucky. That's when the alumni, when the track owners, the guys that own all the big racehorses who are Kentucky blue bloods, that's when they're going to start coming out talking and saying, you know what, I'm not feeling this at all anymore. So pretty much
they'll run out of patience. Oh yeah, they'll run out of patience. They'll run out of patience.
Right, because I think that once is enough. But twice, come on. In the era. And then you wasted an undefeated team in the Final Four as well, too, getting to that national championship. So, there's a lot of factors that go into if Coach Calipari being
prime time, real quick. Prime time, before we move along, we're looking at the 2 best teams in the country right now, in Baylor and Gonzaga. Are those programs that are ever known for having one and dones, or at least littered with one and dones? Not to my knowledge.
Not at all. And the years that they did try to do one and dones, they weren't successful. And at all, because that's not their style at all. Baylor had a group of guys come in. They were all super freshmen, and everybody kind of just fell apart. And you saw guys stick around. You saw guys try to run to the NBA, and then you saw guys just transfer. So it happened. Yeah. So pretty much, let's jump into the NBA real quick. Is Philadelphia the best team in the Eastern Conference right now? And would they be a finals play for you?
Yeah. That's what I was just going to get to. Now, I think the first answer to that is yes, they are right now. And the second follow-up to that is if you have to put a ticket in for a future. I don't know if Philly has since bumped ahead of Brooklyn with the odds. I'd have to take a look at the update. But Philly is the play right now. And there's a lot more to do with the Nets based on what I've observed with the Nets as of late. But as far as Philly goes, it has a lot to do with them too, I think Doc Rivers being there has a lot to do with it, man. I think the rumblings about Brown over the years, I think there was a lot of merit to him as a coach. Good guy, knows his basketball, head coach, running the squad, managing a couple of these egos here and there, with Embiid and the tomfoolery at times. Yeah, you need a legit coach in there. Why not Doc Rivers? The guy's been around forever. He's, I think he's clearly the difference. Look what he's getting out of these players, primetime. Let's start with Tobias Harris. This is a guy I've watched not only as a Piston, but I watched, for some stupid reason, I watched the Harris growing up as a young player in the Magic, watching him develop over the years. I don't know what all the fuss was about with him getting the max deal. That was economics in the league. So he's worth pretty close to every penny when you look at some of these deals. I mean, he's worth pretty damn close to every penny. He's playing his best basketball. Simmons becoming more of a multifaceted player. I think the ceiling, as Michael Jordan says, the ceiling's the roof for Simmons. I don't get the total bashing of Simmons as far as the the direction of the team with him. You got to hang on to the guy unless you get a haul for him. I mean, he's still a hell of a player. And Embiid, the best for last. Let's be honest. MVP. I don't want to say leader right now, but he's right there for it, in my opinion. And you add that up with Rivers. Oh, I'm sorry, with Doc Rivers and a little depth. And right now they're at the top, and I probably expect them to be representing the East at this time.
Well, I totally agree. And the reason why I like them so much coming out the East, and I think everybody's just in love with the Nets because who they have and the scoring capability. These guys can average 90 points as a trio nightly if they want to. We know this. Yes, we know this. Okay. But the thing is, though, who stopped Embiid over there with the 76ers? Embiid is playing the dominant way he's playing, the tough way he's playing, making centers really work and really, really frustrated right now. I haven't seen somebody do that since my man Shaq O'Neal back in the Laker days. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying he's being as dominant as Shaq because Shaq was 4 feet and in. But see, the thing about Embiid is he'll beat you from 15 out. He'll hit a 3 on you. He'll go down there and on the block on you. And then you know what? He helps out his teammates as well, too, on the drive. The Tobias Harris buzzer beater against the Lakers, he really literally shielded off AD to stop that play. And, pretty much it's just like, damn, everybody was mad at Caruso about it. But AD really was the step-up man, but he couldn't step up because he had Embiid riding his way. So that's the impact that Embiid's making. And it's the overall, I have him as a slight second to LeBron for the MVP.
Yeah. So do I. Yep. I like that. I like that thought on the MVP. And as far as Embiid goes, he's one of those players that's like, I feel like when he wants to be really good, he's really, really good. And he doesn't let nonsense get in the way. Hate to say it, but doesn't act like a diva. You know what I mean? Just puts his head down, goes to work. And you mentioned a good point. I mean, I mentioned the multifaceted with Simmons. You could point to that regard with Embiid. As the game's changed over the last 10 years, Embiid, he comes into the league in the middle of that. He's just putting the ball on the floor. He creates plays. He can shoot. We know by now. I mean, when he's out there by himself, he's going to make him 38-40% of the time. So that makes him such a weapon. And then the fact that he can put the ball on the floor from there is just, that's what makes him a big time player. And then when he brings that extra that's when you're talking MVP. That's when you're talking representing the East. That's when you're talking about giving a team like the Lakers the best run for their money. So yeah, listen, it's funny. I've talked to those guys out at the Superbook, like Sherman and Ed Salmons and those dudes on my show. They've come on my show and we've actually talked about the Sixers the past 12 months or so. And I'm kind of just waiting for it. And it's just like one of those teams, like you always thought when they get a coach, they got a coach. They have some depth. They got some depth. Maybe you could do something buyout wise. Who knows? But when you look at that big three, I kind of feel like in a weird year, COVID year, I don't know. Why not?
All right. Final thoughts. Just anything. Weekend games, anything. Give me something.
I don't know. I like the Pistons plus the 2.5 tonight for some weird reason. They played really good basketball the last 2 games they went out there. They lost a squeaker to the Lakers, then they took the Nets, and the Nets were vulnerable. And I think they have some problems. I really do, as far as the coach and Kevin Durant being the adult in the room. Different discussion for a different day, but they took advantage of them, and they play inspired. Casey has them playing hard, and I respect that. If you ask Piston fan right now, they tell you the rebuild's rounding third base, which is not true at all. They don't have a foundational player at the point guard. They gave Mason Plumlee $25 million, and meanwhile, Christian Wood, on a 15% pay raise from that, is in Houston right now looking like a modern-day star big man. And I have a big problem with that, but I love the Jeremy Grant signing. I think he could be expendable down the road if this thing doesn't get in full speed, but they look good. I'm Sadiq Bey. They got some young players. They get the Pacers on a back-to-back tonight. The Pacers, if I'm not mistaken, I looked into this morning. They're actually pretty decent on the back-to-back this year, but they're on the road. They got nothing going last night. I mean, they got zilch zilch going. I wanted to pay attention to the game because I thought maybe it would be a pick'em tonight. And then I saw the Pistons. I could get the 3 for -120. So give me the Pistons plus the 3 tonight, prime time, and my under 23.5 wins as long as 2 more games don't get canceled. That still looks to be in the bag despite what could be a 2-game win streak for the Pistons tonight. I'll take the Pistons with the 2.5. That's my final thought on the day.
Well, it is a team with a winning record, so you know they'll show up. Pistons, and just note the Pistons have beat the Lakers, the Nets, and the 76ers, okay? So
wins.
Put that in your notes, everybody, that the Pistons got 6 wins, but 3 of them are against some of the better teams in the NBA as well, too. So there it is.
They're one of the best bad teams that you'll find in the NBA.
But you know what? Rock on Jeremy Grant. That number 9 jersey is going to be selling out everywhere in Detroit very, very soon. All right. So thank you, Switty, so much for coming on in, man. And you guys make sure to check him on out, man. He got a great show. Your show is daily too, correct?
Yep. We're still going Monday to Friday.
All right.
Busy month. Prime time as far as the show goes. Getting prepped for March, trying to get the video back out there. You know, this pandemic shut down a lot of opportunity to get live in front of the camera like you are right now. So we're finally some light at the end of the tunnel in that regard. Maybe not so much for the economy and for the country, but as far as the near future, we're going to get in front of the cameras and hopefully get this thing popping. But we're getting it on YouTube. We're getting it on 6 to 7 every night. UT women kicked me off last night. They're in a tough rut right now. So I might be off on Wednesdays, but Monday to Friday for the most part, 6 to 7. Not just the Toledo, Ohio sports talk. We do it all. We do it all, my friend.
And there it is. All right. So you guys make sure you press that link that's sitting there in the show description. You guys get the Fubo TV 7 days free. You get on it too, Nick. Get yourself that Fubo TV 7 days free. You get all the live sports and live TV you want, the entertainment. Go ahead and check it out. Fubo TV. The link is in the show description, and you guys will be able to check that on out and get a 7-day free trial. If you do want to go ahead and move forward with them, it's $55 a month, no credit check. And if you don't want it anymore, just go ahead and not pay the bill at the end of the month, and you won't have it anymore. So there it is. With that, this is the Premier Sports Betting Show with the one and only Pop DiBiase, the primetime capper, and I would like to thank our guest, Nick Switty, for coming on in. Hopefully we'll see him next Thursday as well, too. And there it is. We'll be right back, and I can't wait to go ahead and give you guys this NBA Thursday preview.
The Viget app, where social media meets sports betting. Get the latest line movements in all major sports. Track your daily bets, daily contests, the NFL over-under contest that pays out $10K in cash prizes. This is a cutting-edge app that helps betting be easy. Sign up with the reference code POPDBIC and you will be able to watch my daily show, The Primetime Angles, as a resource to building that bankroll. Viget is available in your Apple or Google Store on your iOS or Android. The social sports betting app, Viget.
From the East and the West, you've heard others, but now you've tuned into the best. This is a Prime Wave Media production.
Oh, the sweet late 80s and early 90s of the NBA when it was a game. You already know. But you guys, what's up? Let's go ahead and get into it. Thursday NBA preview. Let's go. All right, up first, Raptors 12-13 at the Celtics tonight, 12-11. All right, Raptors coming into the game 8th in scoring this season, 114 points per game. They're averaging 3rd in free throw percentage as well, 83.3%, and they're 2-1 versus the division, the Atlantic Division, and they're 9-6 straight up against the East. Now they go over here and they're playing against the arch rival, the Boston Celtics, the same team that put them out last year in the playoffs. And the Celtics are 8th in 3-point percentage with 38.1% per game. Tatum and Brown are combining for 53.5 points per game, almost 54 points nightly. Then they're 1-4 in the division, though. This has been their Achilles heel all season, and 9-6 straight up against the East. And 9-6 straight up against the East, just like the Raptors. So pretty much this is a game that you just throw out the ball and you hope for good things to happen. You know what I mean? This could be a scoreboard watching game, or this could be a game where you say, you know what, I'm going to invest in the home team, or I'm going to invest in the road team here, because the Raptors are coming in here as the slight dog, and it seems like they always play very well in Boston, but we will see, and I have an answer for you where I'm going with this one once we get to talking tickets. All right, so pretty much we move on, and we have the Heat at the Rockets, and this is an East-West matchup here, and we got the Heat 10-14, the Rockets 11-13 coming into the game. The Heat are 27th in scoring this year, only getting 107 points per game, and they're 12th in three-pointers. They are actually 1-1 versus the Southwest this year, and they're 3-3 versus the West. So there it is with that. And then we have the Rockets, who are 9th in three-pointers made with 342, 3rd in blocks, 5.9 per game. And then they're 2-1 versus the Southeast Division in the East, and then they're 3-3 versus the East. And there it is with the Rockets and the Heat. This game looks like it should be a really good game tonight. Both teams are very even here, and as you can see, the Rockets are the slight home dog here, and I think that is some good value for you as well too, because the Rockets are playing their best basketball right now. Now we move forward and we have the Pacers and the Pistons. And the Pacers and Pistons, boy oh boy, you guys just heard Nick said that the Pistons are the play here, and I think that he's on to something. You know, the Pacers had a little bit of a rough time against the Nets the other night, but you know what though, this is a divisional game, but they've struggled in the division as well too. To start off, they've had some close calls, but they're 1-1 in the division. But you know what's a good fact for this team? They're 9th in field goal percentage at 47.3 nightly, and then they're 6th in assists with 26.7 per game. And but the only bad thing going for the Pacers right now, they're 1-4 in the month of February, 0-2 on the road. They've struggled after getting off to such a good start. Now we move on to the Pistons, who are 16th in three-pointers made with 308. They're 0-5 in division play, 0-2 at home this season, 4-10 versus the East. But as I said before, they beat two of the better teams in the East, in the Nets and the 76ers. And then you have they're 1-3 in February, but 1-0 at home. So there it is. The Pistons coming into this game looking thirsty for a good win. So we'll see how it shakes out, and we'll go from there. We have the Magic at the Warriors tonight, and this one should be a doozy. The Magic and Warriors are two very teams going in two different directions right now. You got a Magic team that's trying to get it back together after a 4-0 start. Now they're 9-16. Literally, this team is 5-16 since that point. And so that's really something that is not, you don't want to write home about. So pretty much when I look at the Magic tonight, this team has lost their 8 out of their last 10 games. They're 4-8 on the road. They're 2-3 versus the West on the road. But this is a good stat for them. They are 3rd in rebounds, averaging 46.9 nightly. So this is something that could help them out just a little bit tonight. But the thing is, though, this team has been struggling badly lately. So it is what it is at the end of the day. So we'll see. Hopefully, but I always take the Magic a little bit more seriously when they're in a spot like this, especially against a team like the Warriors, who can overlook them and kind of mess the money up a little bit. But we do have the Warriors here 5-5 in their last 10 games, 8-5 at home. They're 4-5 against the East, and then they are 2-3 at home versus the East as well too. So when you look at the Orlando Magic in this Golden State matchup, you say to yourself, okay, they're giving the Warriors 8 here and an over/under 223.5. Scoreboard watching would be a good idea, but I really truly think that the points, they are pretty much telling us right now that the Warriors are going to be taking a lot of the action regardless of this high spread or not. Okay, so pretty much that's what it is right there, and I have my answer for you guys in a moment when we're talking tickets. All right, so our nightcap is going to be the 76ers, 18-7, going against the Blazers, 13-10. The 76ers coming into this game 8-2 in their last 10, 5-1 on the road, 7-5 on the road for the season, and they've won their last 4 in a row as well too. They're 3-3 versus the West and 2-1 on the road versus the West as well. So the 76ers are balling. So pretty much you got to look out for this team, and they're coming in as a 5.5-point favorite. The over/under 229.5. You got a Blazers team that's 500 right now in their last 10, 5-5, 5-5, and then they're 3-2 in the month of February and 6-5 at home. Then they are 3-1 at home versus the East, so they do have somewhat of an advantage here tonight coming into this one. So you gotta love it, you gotta like it, and that is a wrap on our NBA Thursday preview right there as well too. So pretty much you guys stay tuned. We got a more show to go. Talking Tickets is coming up next, but you guys already know what it is, man. Valentine's Day is coming up. You guys go ahead and get to that promo code, and you guys get to styling, looking good with that Stacy Adams. Get that LNK10, and you guys get 10% off on any order that's $75 or better. Get that good drip and be looking good for Valentine's Day, and get your fits together for the weekends, man. We're going to be back to life very, very soon everywhere. So be ready, man. You got to get stock up on that those fits, man. So once again, Stacy Adams, claim that 10% off with the LNK10. With that, we'll be right back with the final segment of the show, Talking Tickets. And this is your host, the one and only Pop DiBiase, the Primetime Capper, and this is the premier sports betting show, the Primetime Angles Live.
Good News Only Racing Club, led by the legendary Doug O'Neill, the trainer of 2 Kentucky Derby winners, and I'll have another in Nyquist. Also trained 2-time Breeders' Cup champ Golden Sense, who are just a part of a long list of thoroughbred champions trained by Doug O'Neill. The Good News Only Racing Club has a young core of horses to look out for in Dennis's Celery, Irish Heatwave, and Notre Dame, just to name a few. Win the day every day with the Good News Only Racing Club, a proud sponsor of the NFL Bet Exchange.
From the East and the West, you've heard others, but now you've tuned into the best. This is a Prime Wave Media production.
Tune into Big Wave Boxing every week with a brand new guest with the one and only Pop DiBiase, the Primetime Capper, getting the best boxing stories, best boxing angles, and the truth when it all comes down to the sweet science. Tune in to Big Wave Boxing on the Prime Wave Media channel on YouTube.
All right, we are back with the Primetime Angles Live, the premier sports betting show with the one and only Pop DiBiase, the Primetime Capper. And man, oh man, it's time to start talking them tickets right now. And talking tickets, we got the Primetime PK6 tonight. And once again, this is going to be a 55-1 ticket tonight. So you guys be on the lookout for this as well. I'll be putting it up in a bit, but we got Utah with the -4.5 tonight. Hampton money line -155 here. Montana State with the +125 tonight. And then we're going to also go ahead and take St. Francis, Pennsylvania tonight with the good 4.5. And then Murray State with the 12.5 tonight. So we'll see how it goes with that. And then we're going to add in UNLV here late. And hopefully we go ahead and get ourselves a big ticket home here with the 55-1 ticket here. So let's see how it shakes out. We go from there. All right, so let's go ahead. It's the dog and me. Let's go ahead and talk about that dog pick 4. And in the dog pick 4, we got Georgia Southern money line going in this game, and I really feel good about this one. I feel like Georgia Southern is going to win the rivalry game here today against their good old rival, Georgia State. Battle of the AA. So you know what it is, man. Pretty much plus 240 on Georgia Southern. Let's see how it shakes out. We'll go from there. We got Radford today as a good home dog, and they are in a perfect spot to go ahead and get a big win tonight. And I love them with the plus 180. Let's see how it shakes out. We'll go from there. Then we got Long Island, who's actually a plus 115. So sorry about that. I don't know how the plus 180 got in there, but it's all good. They are the dog here, but they are a slight dog. So pretty much they are the plus 115. And this is actually a 43-1 ticket tonight as well, too. And then you have Air Force that's plus 170 as well. So pretty much there it is. That is our CBB Dog PK4. And there it is. Single what you like off that group as well, too. We move forward. Let's talk about the NBA. 42-1 ticket here in the NBA tonight. We got the over being 216 with the Pacers and Pistons tonight. Then we got the under 220.5 with the Raptors and Celtics tonight. And the Rockets money line plus 135. The Magic plus 8 tonight. And then we have the Blazers as our dog of the day at plus 185 today. So pretty much there it is. That's talking tickets for you right there. All right, so pretty much I want to thank you guys so much for tuning in today. We will have a guest tomorrow as well too. Sean Harnish, Guppy Money is going to be in tomorrow talking some angles with us, giving us some good stats and good numbers and everything like that, rolling into a big college basketball weekend. So make sure to tune in for that show tomorrow. And once again, I want to thank you guys so much for tuning in today. And if you guys need that big bet, you guys go ahead and need a book, you guys go ahead and check out YOUWAGER. You guys will be able to get yourself a good little deal here. You guys put in the promo code POP80. You guys put up your initial deposit. They'll match 50% of this. So if you put up a $500 deposit, they'll put up a $200 free play for you there with the POP80 promo code. Okay, so once again, this is over at YOUWAGER, where the world bets. Okay, and they got some great action over there too, and they pay out very consistently and very quickly as well too. So pretty much make sure to read the rules and everything that you need to know about this before moving forward, so then you don't come back and try to bite my ear off. Just know that they're just a sponsor of the show as well too. So pretty much you guys go ahead and check them on out. That's YOUWAGER. But once again, thank you so much. Want to send a big shout out to my team as well too. Thank you guys so much for doing what you guys do. You're the absolute best, and it is what it is at the end of the day, man. Bet with your head and not with your heart. This is the premier sports betting show with the one and only Pop DiBiase, the primetime capper, and this is the Primetime Angles Live, and I am gone.
From the East and the West, you've heard others, but now you've tuned into the best. This is a Prime Wave Media production.